Damn, my fault. Banana smoothie, swag at hoe. All right, I got my notes right here, so I'm gonna be, what I'm saying, reading like a whole bunch of pretenses and shit like that. But for the most part, the Kabbalah is a type of Jewish mysticism and stuff like that. But based upon that Jewish mysticism, all they're doing is just cosplaying like the chakra systems, and now I'm explaining it in like an astrological type perspective and stuff like that to make it more simple for you to understand. And based upon like some, you know what I'm saying, like a birth, life, death type of cycle, as above, so below. Goddamn, the fuck that shit called? The astrology, astronomy, anatomy perspective, and things of that nature. So for the most part, when they sit there and they like reference Malakuf and things of that nature, they're just talking about Earth as in being, like the Earth we're on right now and stuff like that, and we're on a celestial body. So that deals with like the Earth energy in itself. It deals with like growth, nourishment, practicality, stability, foundation, pattern, routine, and things of that nature. Something you can go to tomorrow and stuff like that. The physical realm, the material world, and things of that nature. Like earthly growth, nourishment type of shit. All right, so and then the minute we get to the references when they talk about the yo, they're talking about the moon. The moon has to deal with your macabre. Your macabre is like your emotions and feelings, and your reactions where you feel comfortable at, your nurturing, motherly type of energy and things of that nature, and like your goddamn like reaction and responses and stuff like that, and like things you like to do in private, things that make you feel at home and things of that nature within yourself, like your heart chakra and things of that nature. Not like your actual heart. I'm not gonna get that far. I'm going too far. But like, yeah, when they talk about like the yod and shit like that, like, yeah, they're referring from an astrological perspective. They talking about your moon and stuff like that. So that's like who you are and your individual spirit. Your individual spirit being like your soul and things of that nature. So it being your individual spirit, you have your own individual way of carrying out your spirit. Your spirit is your space, and you have multiple ways to put yourself in different spaces and things of that nature. And then it being your individual spirit, aka your soul, that's your individual way when it comes to when it comes to dealing with your emotions and feelings and how you want to conduct yourself inside your space. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And then the next one, they start talking about the hold, and the hold refers to like Mercury planet and stuff like that. And Mercury represents thinking, communicating, articulating, and things of that nature. And having good communication skills internally, externally. We already know planet rules over Virgo and Gemini and stuff like that. So just like looking into the details, doing things on schedule, pattern on a day-to-day basis, and things of that nature. And being mutable, adaptable, changeable to your own or other people's ways of thinking, communicating, and you know what I'm saying? Like something like it can deal with that like cynical type of energy at times. It can deal with like, being too critical, judgmental and stuff like that, but you always trying to form my opinion about things and things of that nature. It's just the Mercury energy in itself. So this can be like fast and quick with it, and then this is about just putting your communication style or your ways of thinking into the atmosphere, so you can sit there, get that give and take, receiving and giving out type of energy of trying to understand other people's minds and perspectives when it comes to practicalizing logic, rationality, and things of that nature. And then after that, because the whole thing is like a whole like zigzag concept and stuff like that. Like, hold on, I'm gonna show you how far you can continue. So like you can see this shit, and then you got Malakuf right here, and then go up, and then it's like a whole zigzag. Like you can literally look that shit up. It's like a whole zigzag pattern of how that shit go up, and I'm just explaining that right now. But right now I'm gonna get to the next one, which is Venus and shit. So the next one that they call Netzach and shit like that. I really don't give a fuck about the pronunciation about any of these things. It's just Jewish mysticism, aka Jewish concepts that's cosplaying other people's spirituality and stuff like that. It's just their way of explaining and looking at it, so you can go into like some deep rabbit hole of their like point of view of how they want you to look at it, when I'm just explaining like the overall perspective, if you was into astrology and stuff like that, of like the simple way of how to look at it for the most part. But the next one would be like Venus. So Venus deals with like love, value, appreciation, compromise, and relatability and things of that nature. We already know Venus is a planet ruler of not Venus, Taurus, and goddamn Libra and stuff like that. So it's gonna be more about your taste and like the beauty and the aesthetic of things for the most part, and being more in that like people pleasing, like harmonious type of vibe and things of that nature. So the next one would be tip hair and stuff like that. So like that's like the solar plexus, aka your sun. So the sun deals with like your wants. That's like your actions. That's your attitude. That's how you like your conscious awareness and stuff like that. That's how you see things. That's how you could conduct your expression, your individuality, your charisma, your inner child, the things you like to entertain and things of that nature. And then the sun is a planet ruler over Leo and stuff like that. So like being center stage of your own way of seeing and feeling, and externalizing that emotion and feeling of how you like to be seen in like a center stage type of way and stuff like that. So it can deal with like like your like ego and like being like highly spirited and stuff like that, and like being like, what I'm saying, like giving life to things and have a lot of energy and vitality. So the next one would be goddamn Gabura, and that's representing like Mars, and Mars deal with like passion, intent, motivation, willpower, desires, and we already know Mars is a planet ruler over Aries and Scorpio and stuff like that. So you can do it in a cardinal fire type of way, or you can do it in a Scorpio type of way for the most part. So that's all about like leadership qualities, being really assertive, being you know what I'm saying, like can come off like real aggressive at times, or like you're like in some like deep passion and motivation and stuff like that, and then willing to do whatever to meet that instant gratification and things of that nature to make that become into a reality, and like burn through reality based upon that foresight, that intuition, and that vision of how you want to conduct yourself and how you want to bring something into existence based upon your own willpower and individuality. So the next one would be Chesed, and that represents Jupiter. And Jupiter has to deal with higher meanings and reasons, knowledge and wisdom, broad philosophical points of views, education, spirituality, education, God, and you know what I'm saying, like what God means in you, and like faith and things of that nature. And Jupiter rules over Pisces and Sagittarius, so they can start going to that whole like spontaneous type of energy, or like some type of like dream imagination that you're trying to give a lot of like higher meanings and reason to, so you can actually be into some type of creativity to actually go into some type of like experience and stuff like that, which can lead into like escapism or like different broad imagination and things of that nature, and like a lot of mutable energy. So like your way of going about experiences and understanding other people's points of references when it comes to their lifestyle and how they go through experiences, and having your own philosophical point of view and perspective, and understanding other people's philosophical views and perspective, and trying to make that like a whole collective conscious type of concept. And the next one would be DAF. The one they refer to DAF and things of that nature, and DAF would have to do with Uranus, and the Uranus type of energy. It deals with like rebellious type of energy, or being unique, different, original, or like you know what I'm saying, like revolutionary, radical type of energy and things of that nature, like radical change for the most part. And by radical, it just means like dramatic change. So it's like very instant. So you're able to deal with the instances of going through a lot of radical change, and it can come off like you're trying to revolt against something, or like trying to be on some rebellious, revolutionary type of tip and things of that nature. But you're just able to handle a lot of dramatic change, or just from you being the energy in itself, you're trying to cause a lot of change, radical change, instantaneously and things of that nature. And it can be like you giving this thing out, or you able to go through a lot of different experiences and stuff like that in your life, of going through a lot of like quick changes and things of that nature that you had to adapt to, and like learn how to get your own space and permanent, or how to deal with these things. All right, so the next one would be called Bina, and Bina refers to Saturn. So Saturn deals with boundaries, restriction, and limits, blockages, frustrations, but also how to deal with one's reality. And sometimes, you know what I'm saying, that's like dealing with like the harsh realities of things, but at the same time, you're able to gain some type of structure, a foundation in your life, and things of that nature. And we know both of these signs, the planet ruler is for Capricorn and Aquarius and stuff like that. So that's kind of like initiating, create a new ways to communicate and make sense out of things, and like practicalize, while also have your own fixated way of thinking, communicating. And but despite like the harsh reality and things that's like going on in front of you that feels like some type of boundary, restriction, and limit, you're still able to persevere and have your own way of how you want to structure and gain foundation in your life. So the next one will be called goddamn Chakma. And Chakma will it start referring to like Neptune. So Neptune will start going into your intuitive outlook, or dream, illusion, imagination, creativity, and things of that nature. And Neptune rules over Pisces. And Pisces is like being mutable, adaptable, changeable to your own and other people's ways when it comes to dealing with the emotions and feelings, and like soaking in the internal aspect and trying to understand your way of feeling about things and other people's ways of feeling about things. So that's like tapping into your subconscious realm and your sensibilities and stuff like that. So you can be sensitive to things of the spirit and things of that nature. So you can have good intuition, but sometimes you can get overflown or get overwhelmed by other people's emotions and feelings and your own emotions and feelings, by trying to understand what's subconsciously going on with you, and you filter these things through some type of dream, imagination, creativity, or trying to get a better understanding of your own subconscious realm, your own psychic abilities, and things of that nature. And then the last one would be called Kether, and Kether refers to Pluto. And Pluto is like the more deep and in-depth version of Mars and stuff like that. So that's deep passion, deep motivation, deep willpower, deep intentions, and things of that nature. Transformation and transmitting energy and stuff like that. And then it rules over Scorpio and stuff like that. So have your own fixated way of dealing with the emotions and feelings, but still able to be, like you're able to go really in depth about your own passion, motivations, and intention and things of that nature, while also being like a very transformative type of person and things of that nature. So you can get fixated on one mind state, but eventually you're going to transfer that mind state into another mind state, and then you're able to go through different passages throughout life and things of that nature. Will you're going to naturally change and things of that nature, and you're not always going to be the same. And you can either be in that pocket of being really stagnant and stuff like that, even though you know you need to change, but you can't let things go, or you being able to transmute energy, and you're able to go through a lot of different power dynamics and transformation and stuff like that. Also that too, it also deals with power dynamics for the most part, and like trying to understand like the things in the dark, the things you can't see. in like, you know, like the dark realm, like eighth house type of shit, like Scorpio type of shit, alternative motives and things of that nature, and tapping into like mysticism, spirituality and cult and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like behind the scenes realm, like shit people don't see, that things in the dark, and then you try to make that come to light. And from you learning that thing in depth within yourself and things of that nature, it can help you transform and transmute things in your life from an internal aspect all the way to an external aspect and things of that nature. So you can learn how to let go of things instead of latching on to things when you already know it'll serve its purpose and things of that nature. And then boom, like I said before, for the most part, yeah, like from the fact I already broke that down, it's like I said, it go from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, you know what I'm saying? Like the whole zigzag, 3, 2, 1, and things of that nature. And then every single thing, every time you go up, for the most part, like you need to understand every concept and stuff like that. So I already done broke down Malakuf, and that's like earth and stuff like that. You need to have some type of growth nourishment in your own foundation, stability, and day-to-day schedule, foundation that you're trying to make for yourself. And then it start going to the moon. You can't like, you know what I'm saying? Like eventually from you getting your own foundation and stuff like that, you're going to have your own emotion and feeling about it, some type of thing you want to care about and nurturement and stuff like that. And then it's going to make it go into the next thing. And that next thing is going to end up being like your Mercury. You're going to have some type of thought, idea, some type of articulation, communication style of how you want to go about this thing, and like, you know what I'm saying, like you're gonna sit there, put it out there in the atmosphere. You're gonna socialize. You're gonna sit there and like think of multiple ways of like how to think of and communicate about this thing that you're trying to do for yourself and stuff like that. And then it's gonna sit there. It's gonna go into the goddamn Venus aspect and stuff like that. So you're gonna gain some type of love, value, and appreciation from you thinking, articulating, and observing that thing for a while. And then you're gonna have your own sense of individuality or expression of going about it, or some type of entertainment, or some type of inner child, or some type of, you know what I'm saying, individual way of how you want to conduct yourself. And it's gonna go into Mars. You're gonna get some type of passion, willpower, intent, you know what I'm saying, some type of motivation behind what you're doing and shit. So some type of assertive type of energy and stuff like that. And then eventually you're going to get some type of knowledge and wisdom, you know what I'm saying, some type of spirituality, morality behind what you're doing, some higher meaning and reasoning behind the passion, motivation, intent, and willpower that you're trying to bring into existence. And then some people, they skip this part, and that's like Uranus. They did skip all the way to the Saturn portion and stuff like that. But don't forget this part with the whole Uranus aspect. You have to go through some type of radical change, some type of unique, like it's going to make you stand out, aka it's going to make you more unique, different, original. But you have to go some type of radical change and things of that nature. By radical change and things of that nature, right? It's just dramatic type of change. You know what I'm saying? You have to go through type of transformation, aka go through some type of Jupiter thing, some type of experience that's going to change you so you can sit there and deal with the boundaries, restriction, and limits. So that's Saturn. The boundary, restriction, and limits and blockages, but it's going to help you structure and gain foundation in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like some people skip that part, but yeah, like some people going to go to Jupiter, go straight to Saturn, right? Get some type of knowledge, wisdom, and morality, or like higher meaning and reasoning, but you didn't really go through the change within yourself. So when you sit and you try to get that foundation or like structure that thing in your life, right? And then it's not getting the results that you want to, and things of that nature, you start getting frustrated, aka you go through the boundary, restriction, and limit, and things of that nature. But it's because you didn't go through some type of radical, dramatic type of change within yourself before you did that thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to keep trying things out until eventually you see the result of something working. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to think about that deep and shit. And then boom, from you doing that, you're going to gain some type of goddamn dream, illusion, imagination, intuitive outlook. You know what I'm saying? You tapping into your subconscious realm, things of that nature. And then you're going to get into that Pluto. Then you're going to get to then you're going to go through some type of transformation. Then you're going to have some type of deep passion and motivation behind why you're doing shit. Then you're going to have some type of power control of how you want to go about something. Because it also deals with power dynamic. Then you're going to start having some type of power and control over the thing. Then you're going to start, you know what I'm saying, like ascending from your lower self to your higher self and things of that nature. That's the whole concept that they talk about. And then you can sit there, you can transform through something with a smile instead of you transform for something for like some type of ego self-serving type of thing. And then you have to go through that whole power control issue within yourself. And you want all the power and control over everything and things of that nature. But you got no one to share it with and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? It's like that type of concept. But yeah.